What I want to tell you guys is if you answer these 4 questions wrong, you will absolutely eventually go out of business. The first question is who? Who are you as a company? And who is your customer? Early on, when we started my first large company, which was Lady Boss, it was called Tool Time. And we went to this event and someone was like, hey, what do you guys call your people? Referring to the customer side. And we were like, we can't call them tools. We need to come up with a new name. And Tool Time didn't really make sense. It didn't really self-identify. And so when we talk about names of company, what's important in a name is that it's simple, it's memorable, and it's self-identified. We came up with the name Lady Boss. We were speaking to women who wanted to own it. It was Lady Boss Health and Weight Loss was born. And so we've now identified who we are. So the simpler and clearer that you can make the name of your company, the easier it's going to be for you to understand who you are and for your customers to understand who you are. And now we go to the customer standpoint. And so who is your customer? And in order for you to speak to your customer, you need to know who they are. So let's think about Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A speaks to the family, right? They speak to middle class to upper middle class that values service. They value their time because they're past the drive-through, but they also want a higher quality product, right? And so they have chicken and not like, GMO'd burgers. And so they know who they are and they know who their customer is. And this is what makes them so successful. The key for us was understanding that our customer was the average American woman. They were 25 to 45. They were in the Bible Belt and they had conservative values, right? Because this is who we spoke to. This is who our message of empowerment, of owning it, not being a victim, and becoming a lady boss spoke to. And so once we married our identity as a company with the identity of the customer and we connected it together in this way, all of a sudden, marketing became so much clearer. Now we can focus on the pain our customer is feeling. And so instead of trying to sell vitamins, right, nobody ever rushes out of their house in the morning and turns around back into their driveway because they forgot to take a vitamin. But people would drive 5 minutes away from their house, and if they forgot to take a painkiller and they're in pain and they're feeling it, they would turn around and go back in their house and take a painkiller, right? And so in order to figure out what the pain of your customer is, you need to know first who they are, and once you do, marketing becomes so simple because there's a very specific list of pains. They don't like who they see in the mirror. They don't like the way their clothes fit. They're tired of waking up without energy. They're tired of trying things and failing. These are all the messages on how we can connect with our customer to help them. Because if we don't know their pain and we don't know who they are, then we can't connect with them. And so not only can we now figure out their pain, but we can figure out their dreams. We're either motivated away from pain or motivated towards our dreams. When we realize who we are and have an identity as a company, and then we understand who our customer is, now all of a sudden marketing becomes very simple. The second question that you can't get wrong, so you don't go out of business, is what is your unique value proposition? What makes your offer, product, service unique? At the end of the day, people have Google. They'll look it up. They'll see the competition. They'll price shop you. They'll match you. They'll look at your offer. They'll look at their offer. They'll look at the benefits. They'll weigh the pros and the cons. People are smart. They have the ability to access information very easily. They have the ability to compare. So your unique value proposition of what you're offering is what sets you apart. You cannot outmarket a bad product. You can create sales with a bad product once, you'll never create customers with a bad product. So when we talk about your unique value proposition, I work with my clients on this all the time because a lot of times their unique value proposition is inherent in their product, but they haven't represented it well in their marketing. So let's take the biggest company that I've built, Lady Boss, for example. So we have female only. We created products specifically for women, right? That was one unique value proposition. Another one is that we focused on the best tasting. We had multiple product lines, but when it came to our top selling supplement product lines, we focused on products that tasted the best because we knew that no one would get a benefit if they didn't taste well. And we knew that this is one of the most important factors to the customer. And we also knew at our unique value proposition that we had a platform. So not only did we have products, but we also had information, and then we also had coaching, and then we also had community and accountability. These things together created our unique value proposition. So in the insanely crowded space of health, we were able to stand out and get our message to the marketplace. So what is your unique value proposition? Once you know what it is, are you communicating it clearly in your marketing? When you sit down to write an email, when you sit to make a social media post, when you sit down to work with your marketing team, are you communicating what's unique and valuable about your product or your offer? Or are you just saying the same thing that you've always said? And what will happen is if you don't communicate this value proposition, then you become a commodity. You become just like everybody else. And you know what happens to commodities? The price of commodities is driven down. And so if you have a unique value proposition, you don't become a commodity because you're not in comparison to anyone else. To the degree that you communicate your unique value proposition is the degree that you will have success in the competitive marketplace. To recap the 4 questions, number 1, who are you? Number 2, who is your customer? Number 3, what is your unique value proposition? And number 4, which we're going to talk about right now, is what is your unique process for creating results, and how do you communicate that? And so what is a unique process for creating results? So using Lady Boss as an example, it was fitness plus nutrition times accountability equals results. So we have a formula. So at one of our partner companies, the King's Brotherhood, the unique formula is this: health plus wealth plus covenant community times God equals results. And we call that the 4 dimensions. And so what is your unique process for creating results? So Malibu, a manufacturer of boats, has Surfgate. So they have a process where there's a flap on the back of the boat, right? So you picture a boat right here. And so on the back, there's a little flap that comes out, and that's what creates the wave that you surf on. And that is their unique process for creating results. They produce a better wave than the competition because they have Surfgate, right? They've named it something, they've branded it something. So Marcus Lemonis, who's got the TV show The Prophet, he has got the 3 Ps. He's got people, product, process. And so this is his unique process for creating results with companies. What is your unique process and how can you illustrate it, right? How can you create a diagram? How can you show people what it is? So if you understand who you are, and then you understand who your customer is, and then you know what makes you unique and what is your unique value proposition as a company, and then you can communicate what is your unique delivery mechanism and how you create results for people. If you can communicate those 4 things and you know those 4 things, you will absolutely crush it in the marketplace.